Not a single family member attended my wedding, not my parents, nor my closest friend. They all opted for my sister's engagement party instead. Yet as we sliced the cake, my phone suddenly lit up with a message from my mother. The message said, "We must talk now," followed directly by 36 missed calls. Can you imagine the sting of realizing the people who should love you unconditionally are actively working to sabotage the most important day of your life? I thought I knew heartbreak, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the moment I saw those missed calls. What could be so urgent, so devastating, that my entire family waited until I was literally cutting my wedding cake to tell me? I was Sophia, 28 years old, and there I stood, in my white dress, my hand on Jason's as we sliced into our wedding cake. The room was buzzing with laughter, claps, genuine joy, but deep down, a hollow ache settled in my chest. Not a single member of my family was there. Just friends and Jason's incredible family. And then my phone flashed. A message from my mom, "We need to talk now." Below it, a chilling 36 missed calls. My stomach lurched. Fear and a desperate curiosity twisted inside me. To understand why my own family abandoned me on my wedding day, we need to go way back. I grew up in a seemingly perfect suburban house in Ohio with my parents, Daniel and Evelyn Jenkins, and my younger sister, Harper. From the outside, we were the picture-perfect American family, matching Christmas sweaters, annual beach vacations. But behind closed doors, I always felt like the emotional orphan. Harper, 3 years younger, might as well have worn a crown from birth. With her natural blonde curls, dimpled smile, and outgoing personality, she was the sunshine child, the star. Everyone adored her. I was never jealous of her talents or her beauty. What hurt was the glaring difference in how our parents treated us. "Mom, I got accepted into the advanced science program." I remember announcing one evening during high school, clutching the congratulatory letter. My mom barely glanced up from helping Harper with a dance costume. "That's nice, honey. Put the letter on the counter so Dad can see it later." That same week, Harper won 3rd place in a local dance competition, and suddenly, we were all out for a celebratory dinner. Champagne was ordered, a toast made to our little star. I sat there, quietly pushing food around my plate, wondering why my achievement was worth nothing more than a passing nod. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was the pattern of my entire childhood. I excelled in math and science, earned scholarships, academic awards, but my achievements were always overshadowed by whatever Harper was doing. My parents actually missed my high school graduation because Harper had a recital. "You understand, right? This is really important for her future," Mom explained, as if my disappointment was trivial. I did understand, but it didn't make the sting any less sharp. By college, I'd accepted my place. I stopped calling home as frequently, knowing conversations would inevitably circle back to Harper's latest accomplishment. I built my own life, found friends who truly saw me, and focused on my education in biomedical engineering. My senior year, I graduated with highest honors. My parents promised they'd come. I reserved 4 seats, 2 for them, 1 for Harper, 1 for my best friend, Naomi. The morning of graduation, a text from my mother, Harper got a call back for a major audition. "We need to drive her to New York." "So proud of you, though. Take pictures." Only Naomi's seat was filled that day. Naomi, she became the family I chose. We met freshman year and just clicked. She was studying psychology, insightful and empathetic in ways my own family never was. After graduation, we both got jobs in Boston and shared an apartment. She witnessed the raw aftermath of my family dynamics, holding me through tears after particularly brutal holiday visits or unanswered birthday calls. Then, at 26, I met Jason Bryant. Tall, kind brown eyes, a laugh that made everyone around him smile. On our 3rd date, I found myself telling him about my family, bracing myself for the usual sympathetic but uncomfortable response. Instead, Jason reached across the table and took my hand. "That is not normal or okay, Sophia," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "You deserve better from the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally." No one had ever validated my feelings so directly. For years, I'd wondered if I was just being overly sensitive. Jason helped me see that my pain was legitimate, that my family's dynamics were genuinely unhealthy. As our relationship deepened, Jason encouraged me to set boundaries. You can't change them, he'd say, but you can change how you respond to them. He suggested therapy, and Dr. Winters helped me understand emotional neglect and how it had shaped me. I started practicing what she called radical acceptance of my family's limitations. It was painful, but incredibly liberating. I stopped trying to earn their approval and focused on building a life that made me happy. Jason became my rock, my champion, my safe harbor. His family welcomed me warmly from the very first visit. His mother, Linda, called just to chat. His father, Robert, sent me articles about science. His sister, Olivia, became the sibling I'd always longed for. You're part of our family now, Linda told me during my second visit. And in this family, we celebrate everyone's victories, big and small. I cried in the guest bathroom that night, overwhelmed by such simple kindness. Jason found me there and held me, understanding exactly what those tears meant. With therapy, Jason's support, and my own determination, I made a promise to myself. I would stop measuring my worth by my family's inability to see it. I would create happiness on my own terms. And most importantly, I would break this cycle if I ever had children of my own. Little did I know how severely my resolve would be tested when Jason and I decided to get married. Jason proposed on our 2-year anniversary at the independent movie theater where we had our first date. The film paused. A custom trailer of our relationship played, set to our favorite song. When the lights came up, Jason was on one knee. Sophia Jenkins, you are the strongest, kindest, most brilliant woman I have ever known. Will you marry me? Through tears and laughter, I said yes, and the entire theater erupted in applause. It was perfect. That night, as we celebrated in our apartment, the anxiety crept in. I needed to tell my family. They'll be happy for you, Jason assured me, though I heard the slight hesitation in his voice. I called my parents the next day, my stomach in knots. My mother answered. Hi, Mom. I have some news. Jason proposed last night, and I said yes. We're engaged. A pause. Just a beat too long. Oh, that's good. Congratulations. No excitement. No questions about the proposal. We were thinking about a spring wedding, maybe 6 months or so, I continued, desperately trying to spark something. That's quite soon. Let us know the details when you have them. Another pause. Harper just got the lead in a local theater production, by the way. We're so thrilled for her. Just like that, my engagement was overshadowed. Again. Despite the lukewarm response, Jason and I forged ahead. We planned a small ceremony at a charming historic venue in Cambridge, about 60 guests. Intimate, meaningful. We chose flowers, a caterer, a photographer. Each decision felt right, felt like us. For months before the wedding, we sent out invitations, including ones to my parents, Harper, and some extended family. Weeks passed. No RSVP. I finally called my mom. Did you receive the invitation, Mom? The venue needs a final headcount soon. Yes, we got it. Your father and I have been meaning to call you. We'll try to make it, of course, but you know how busy things get. It's my wedding day, I said, my voice strained. I'd really like you all to be there. Of course, honey, we'll do our best. Each conversation followed the same pattern. Promises to attend, but excuses for not helping or participating in pre-wedding activities. When I asked if my father wanted to do the traditional father-daughter dance, he mumbled something about checking his schedule. Through it all, Naomi was my saving grace. She took on maid of honor duties with an enthusiasm that made up for my family's indifference. She organized a beautiful bridal shower, helped me shop for my dress, listened patiently to my tearful venting. They'll come around, she'd assure me. And if they don't, I'll be standing right beside you. You are not alone, Sophia. Jason's family, too, stepped up in extraordinary ways. His mother offered to help with seating arrangements. His father insisted on contributing to costs. Olivia threw me another bridal shower, making me feel truly welcomed. My relationship with my own family grew more strained. Calls were met with distraction, texts from Harper were rarely answered. I tried to tell myself it was normal pre-wedding stress, making me oversensitive. But deep down, I knew something was very, very wrong. Still, I clung to hope. Despite years of disappointment, some childish part of me believed my wedding day would be different. Surely, this once, they would show up for me. Surely, this milestone would be important enough for their full attention. With Naomi and Jason by my side, I pushed forward, determined to have a beautiful day regardless. Your wedding will be perfect because it's about you and Jason, Naomi reminded me. Everything else is just details. I clung to those words like a lifeline. I had no idea just how dramatically my family would prove me wrong. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was scrolling Instagram. My thumb froze. My heart stopped. It was Harper, beaming, her left hand prominently displaying a sizable diamond ring. The caption, "He asked, I said yes. #future Mrs. Williams." I stared, unable to process it. Harper was engaged to Patrick Williams, a guy she'd been dating for barely 6 months, and no one had told me. The comments were filled with congratulations, including from my parents. My mother had written, "So happy for my beautiful baby girl. Can't wait to celebrate this weekend." My hands shaking, I called my mother immediately. She answered, sounding cheerful until she realized it was me. "Sophia, is everything okay? I'm a bit busy right now." "Harper's engaged?" I whispered. A pause. "Oh, you saw the post." "Yes, Patrick proposed last weekend. It was so romantic." "And why?" I interrupted. "Did nobody tell me?" "Well, honey, you've been so busy with your own wedding plans. We didn't want to bother you." Something in her tone didn't ring true. I pressed further. "Mom, what's this about celebrating this weekend? My wedding is in 2 weeks." Another, longer pause. "Harper is having a small engagement party on Saturday. Just family and close friends." My stomach dropped. "This Saturday? But that's my wedding day." "Is it? Oh dear, I thought your wedding was the following weekend." Her voice was falsely confused. "Harper has had this date planned for her party for a while now." "How could she have planned it weeks ago?" I asked, logic cutting through my shock, "when she just got engaged last weekend." "Well, they've known they were getting engaged. They just made it official recently," my mother hedged. Then her voice took on an irritatingly reasonable tone. "Honey, would it be possible for you and Jason to reschedule? We've already put down deposits for Harper's party, and everyone has made arrangements." The request was so outrageous, so incredibly hurtful, that for a moment, I couldn't speak. Reschedule my entire wedding, vendors booked, guests invited, because my sister decided to have an engagement party on the same day? "No, Mom," I finally said. "We cannot reschedule our wedding. We have 60 people coming. Contracts signed, everything arranged." "Well," she sighed, as if I were the unreasonable one. "I suppose we'll have to figure something out. But you know how important this is for Harper. And I've been planning my wedding for 6 months." I snapped, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. "You all RSVP'd. Dad is supposed to walk me down the aisle. We'll try to make it to part of your ceremony," she offered, as if suggesting a compromise. "Maybe we can split our time between both events." I ended the call, too stunned and hurt to continue. I called Naomi, who expressed appropriate outrage. "That is insane," she declared. "They can't expect you to share your wedding day, or worse, reschedule it for an engagement party." An engagement party, not even her actual wedding. What should I do? I asked, fighting back tears at my desk. "Nothing. You do absolutely nothing except have your beautiful wedding as planned. If they choose Harper's party over your wedding, that's on them, not you. And I promise you, Sophia, I will be right there with you the entire day. You will not be alone." Jason was equally supportive when I told him, though I saw the flash of anger in his eyes before he controlled it for my sake. "Your family is making a choice," he said gently. "And it is a poor one that reflects on them, not on you. Our wedding will be wonderful because we'll be surrounded by people who truly love and support us." "But what if none of my family comes?" I asked, voicing my deepest fear. "Then we will still get married, still celebrate, and still begin our life together," he said firmly. "My family will be there, our friends will be there, and most importantly, we will be there, promising to be each other's family for the rest of our lives." I tried to take comfort in his words, but the pain of potential abandonment on what should be one of the happiest days of my life was overwhelming. That night, I sobbed in Jason's arms until I had no tears left, mourning not just their likely absence, but the family relationship I had always longed for and never truly had. The next day, I texted Harper directly. "Congratulations on your engagement. I wish you had told me personally. Is there any way you could reschedule your party? I would love for you to be at my wedding." Her response came hours later. "Thanks. Sorry. Everything is already set for the party. Maybe you could come for a little bit after your reception? It's going to be epic." The casual disregard, the complete lack of recognition that I could hardly attend her engagement party during my own wedding reception, was the final straw. I didn't respond. Over the next few days, I received a few more texts from my mother, each making it increasingly clear that they had chosen Harper's celebration. The last one read, "We will try to stop by your ceremony if we can get away from setup for Harper's party. Hope you understand. Family comes first." The irony of that statement was not lost on me. In their minds, Harper was family. I, apparently, was not. The day before my wedding arrived. A flurry of last-minute details, and the rehearsal at 5 p.m. I hadn't heard from my family in 3 days, despite leaving voicemails. The historic venue looked beautiful. "Your family hasn't arrived yet," the coordinator asked as the start time approached. "They might be running late," I said, the lie tasting bitter. Jason squeezed my hand. His family arrived, smiling, excited. His mother hugged me tightly. His father clapped Jason on the back. Olivia immediately started taking photos. At 5:30, with still no sign of my family, we started without them. The officiant, a friend from college, guided us through with warmth. Jason's 12-year-old cousin practiced his ring bearer role with exaggerated seriousness. Everything was lovely, except for the glaring absence on my side of the aisle. As we were finishing up, my phone vibrated. I pulled it out, hoping against hope. Instead, it was my mother. "Busy preparing for Harper's party tomorrow. Good luck with the rehearsal. Love you." I shoved the phone back into my pocket, determined not to let anyone see how much that casual dismissal hurt. But Jason knew me too well. "They're not coming, are they?" he asked quietly as we walked to the rehearsal dinner. "No," I replied, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. "They're busy preparing for Harper's party." His jaw tightened, but he just nodded. Their loss. The rehearsal dinner was at an Italian restaurant. Jason's parents had reserved a private room. Place cards marked each seat, including spots for my absent family members. I made it through appetizers before excusing myself to the restroom, leaning against the sink, pushing back tears. This was supposed to be happy. I refused to let my family's choices completely ruin it. When I returned, Linda had removed the empty place cards and rearranged the seating to close the gaps. She gave me a small smile and a wink. A rush of gratitude. The dinner continued with toasts, stories, and laughter. If anyone noticed my forced smile or distant gaze, they kindly didn't mention it. Naomi, sitting beside me, was a constant comfort, effortlessly charming Jason's relatives. "Tomorrow will be perfect," she assured me. "I'll be at your hotel at 9 a.m. with coffee and breakfast. We'll get your hair and makeup done, get you into that gorgeous dress, and make you the most beautiful bride Boston has ever seen." I hugged her tightly. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "You'll never have to find out," she promised. Back at the hotel, Jason kissed me goodnight. "This time tomorrow, we'll be husband and wife," he said. "Nothing else matters." Alone in my room, I allowed myself one last attempt. I called my father. "Hello," he sounded distracted. "Dad, it's Sophia. I just wanted to check if you're still planning to come tomorrow to walk me down the aisle." A long pause. "Sophia, I'm sorry. Your mother needs me to help with Harper's party. There's so much to do, and you know how important this is to your sister." "More important than your oldest daughter's wedding?" I asked, my voice breaking. "That's not fair. We didn't realize the dates would conflict." "There's no conflict, Dad. You chose." I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. "I'm sorry you feel that way," he said stiffly. "I hope you have a nice wedding." The call ended. I sat on the edge of the bed. No more tears came. Just a hollow, empty feeling, like something inside me had finally broken. My phone chimed. A text from Naomi, just checking in. How are you feeling, bride-to-be? I managed to respond, I'm okay. Looking forward to seeing you in the morning. Her reply came quickly, about that. I'm so sorry, but something urgent has come up. Family emergency. I might be a little late, but I'll definitely be there before the ceremony. Don't worry. A small flicker of unease. Naomi had never been vague. Everything okay? Anything I can help with? I texted back. All good. Just need to handle this. Get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. Something felt off, but I was too drained. I scrolled mindlessly through social media to distract myself, only to freeze when a new post from Harper appeared. A selfie of her trying on a party dress, caption, "Final fitting for tomorrow's big day. Can't wait to celebrate with everyone who matters." The location tag caught my eye, Bellamy's Boutique, the same upscale shop where Naomi had mentioned she needed to run an errand earlier that week. With a growing sense of dread, I tapped on the photo to see who had liked it. And there, among the names, was Naomi's. And worse, a comment from her, posted just 30 minutes ago. "You look stunning. Can't wait for tomorrow." My hands shook. I switched to Naomi's profile and found a story she had posted, then quickly deleted, but not before Instagram marked it posted 1 hour ago. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. My best friend. My maid of honor. The one person who had promised to stand by me no matter what, was planning to attend Harper's engagement party instead of my wedding. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "I saw Harper's post and your comment. Are you going to her party instead of my wedding?" Minutes passed. No response. Then, 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. And then, "I'm so sorry, Sophia." Harper reached out and said how much it would mean to her if I could come. I thought maybe I could do both, but the timing won't work. I should have told you directly. I feel terrible. The betrayal was complete. I turned off my phone, unable to bear anymore. Curling up on the hotel bed, still fully dressed, I let the tears come. Ugly, wrenching sobs that left me gasping for breath. Everyone who was supposed to love me had chosen Harper. Again. Even on my wedding day. I must have cried myself to sleep because the next thing I knew, my phone was ringing and sunlight streamed through the curtains. Groggy, I answered without checking the caller ID. "Sophia, it's Allison. I'm in the lobby with coffee and bagels. Can I come up?" Allison Turner had been my roommate junior year. We'd stayed in touch sporadically, and I'd invited her out of nostalgia. I hadn't expected her to show up. Sure, I croaked. Room 312. A few minutes later, a knock. I opened it to find Allison with a cardboard tray of coffee and a bag from a bakery. "Hey, bride," she said cheerfully, then stopped when she saw my face. "Whoa, are you okay?" That simple question shattered what little composure I had. To my horror, I burst into tears again, right there in the doorway. Allison didn't hesitate. She set the coffee down and pulled me into a hug. Hey, it's okay. Whatever it is, we'll fix it." Between sobs, I told her everything, my family choosing Harper's party, Naomi's betrayal, how I was now without family or a maid of honor. When I finished, Allison pulled back and looked me directly in the eyes. "Okay, first of all, your family and Naomi are garbage people right now. Second, I am here and I am not going anywhere. If you'll have me, I would be honored to step in as your maid of honor today." "You would do that?" I asked, stunned. "Absolutely. What are friends for?" "Now, drink this coffee while I call the hair and makeup people to confirm they're still coming here at 9. Then we're going to make sure you have the most beautiful, meaningful wedding day possible, regardless of who is or is not there." In that moment, with Allison taking charge, showing me more loyalty than people I'd counted as much closer friends, a small spark of hope returned. Maybe this day could still be salvaged. "Thank you," I said simply, taking the coffee. "No thanks needed. Now, let's get you ready to marry the love of your life." The morning was a blur. The stylists arrived, transforming my tear-swollen face into something radiant. Allison was an exceptional stand-in maid of honor, anticipating my needs, making me laugh with college stories, keeping me distracted. By the time I stepped into my dress, a simple, elegant A-line with delicate lace, I almost felt like the bride I'd imagined. Almost. But not quite. The hollow feeling returned. No mother to help with my veil. No father to walk me down the aisle. "You look absolutely beautiful," Allison said, helping with the final touches. Jason is going to be speechless. I managed a small smile. "I just wish." "I know," she said gently. "But today is still your day. Focus on Jason. On the life you are building together. That's what matters most." A knock. Allison opened it. Robert, Jason's father, stood there in his tuxedo, looking nervous. "I hope I'm not intruding," he said, his kind eyes finding mine. "Jason mentioned your father, well, that he might not be here today. I wanted to offer my services if you would like someone to walk you down the aisle. No pressure at all. Just an option." The unexpected kindness brought fresh tears to my eyes. "I would be honored, Robert." "Thank you." He nodded, clearly emotional himself. "The honor is all mine, Sophia. You've made our son happier than we've ever seen him. You are already part of our family. Today just makes it official." As we arrived at the venue, my phone remained silent. No messages from my parents, Harper, or Naomi. I'd known not to expect them, but the confirmation of their absence still stung. I took a deep breath and handed my phone to Allison. "Hold this for me. I don't want any distractions." "Absolutely," she said. And I turned the ringer off, just in case. The wedding coordinator led us to the small room where I would wait. Through the window, I saw guests arriving, filling seats on both sides of the aisle. 5 minutes, she announced. Suddenly, the reality hit me. I was getting married. Without my family. The mixture of joy and sadness was disorienting. "Ready?" Robert asked, offering his arm as the music began. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Walking down the aisle was surreal. I registered the smiling faces, heard soft gasps of appreciation. But everything seemed slightly out of focus until my eyes found Jason, waiting at the altar. His face, when he saw me, was everything I could have hoped for: awe, love, absolute certainty. I was vaguely aware of the empty front row on my side, the seats reserved for family that would remain unoccupied. But as Robert placed my hand in Jason's, the pain of those absences receded, replaced by the warmth of Jason's touch and the love shining in his eyes. "You look incredible," he whispered. The ceremony was brief but meaningful. We had written our own vows. Jason's brought tears to my eyes and laughter from our guests. "Sophia," he began, "I promise to be your partner and equal in all things. I promise to celebrate your victories as if they were my own, to stand beside you through whatever challenges we face, and to create a home where you always know your worth is never in question. You're the strongest person I know, and I am in awe of your resilience and grace. Today, I am not just gaining a wife, but creating a family with you. One where love is never conditional and support is never withheld. I love you, all of you, exactly as you are." The reception was held in the same venue, a beautifully decorated hall with twinkling lights and centerpieces of lilies and hydrangeas. Despite the notable absences, the room felt full of love and joy. Jason's extended family and our friends filled the space with laughter and conversation. If anyone noticed or pitted the bride with no family present, they were kind enough not to show it. We had our first dance to Etta James, swaying gently. When the song ended, Jason's father stepped forward to dance with me for the father-daughter dance, a gesture that brought fresh tears to my eyes. "Thank you," I whispered as we moved. "For everything." "You are family now," he replied simply. "That's what family does." The evening progressed with toasts, dinner, and more dancing. I found myself genuinely enjoying the celebration, despite the ache that lingered. Jason rarely left my side, sensing when my thoughts drifted to those who had chosen not to be there. Finally, it was time to cut the cake. A 3-tier creation. Jason and I stood behind it, smiling for the photographer. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded. We pressed the knife into the bottom tier. Everyone applauded. It was at that precise moment that I felt my phone vibrate in the hidden pocket of my dress. I'd retrieved it from Allison during cocktail hour, not wanting to be completely disconnected. As Jason began cutting slices, I discreetly checked the screen. A message from my mother, "We need to talk now." Below it, notifications for 36 missed calls. From my mother, my father, even Harper, all within the last hour. My stomach dropped. What could possibly have happened that would prompt such an urgent barrage of communication after they had all but abandoned me today? "Everything okay?" Jason asked, noticing my expression. I showed him the screen. "I don't know what to make of this." "Whatever it is can wait," he said firmly. "This is our wedding day." They made their choice earlier. Part of me agreed, wanted to silence my phone and continue celebrating. But another part, the part that had always hoped for reconciliation, for understanding, for the family relationship I'd never truly had, made me hesitate. What if something is really wrong? I asked. Jason studied my face, then sighed. "If you want to call them back, I understand. But remember, you don't owe them your time today. This day is ours." I squeezed his hand gratefully. "I'll step outside for just a minute. If it's nothing important, I'll come right back." Finding a quiet corner in the venue's garden, I dialed my mother's number. She answered on the first ring, her voice tearful and frantic. "Sophia, oh, thank God. We've been trying to reach you for hours." "I was getting married, Mom," I said, unable to keep the edge from my voice. "What is so urgent?" What she said next would change everything I thought I knew about this day, about my family, and about the sister I had always believed simply outshone me. "It's Harper," my mother said, her voice breaking. "Patrick called off the engagement, right in the middle of the party. He said he couldn't go through with it because Harper told him what she did to you." I sank onto a nearby bench, trying to process her words. "What do you mean? What did she do to me?" My mother's breathing was uneven. "Harper lied to us, Sophia. About everything. She deliberately scheduled her engagement party on your wedding day. She told us that you had changed your wedding date and didn't bother to tell us because you didn't want us there." The world seemed to tilt. "What?" "She showed us texts from you saying you wanted nothing to do with us, that you were having a private ceremony with just Jason's family because they were your real family now. She said, you specifically asked us not to come." My hand trembled, gripping the phone tighter. "Mom, I never sent any texts like that. I have been calling and messaging for weeks, begging you all to come." "I know that now," she admitted, her voice small. "Patrick confronted Harper today after she made a comment about finally being the center of attention. When he pushed her, she broke down and admitted everything. She created fake text conversations, deleted your real messages, intercepted the physical invitation you sent." I struggled to breathe. The magnitude of Harper's deception was overwhelming. "But why would you believe I wouldn't want you at my wedding? After all the times I called, all the voicemails I left." My father's voice cut in, and I realized I was on speakerphone. "She had an answer for everything, Sophia. She said you were just keeping up appearances, that you had told her the truth about how you really felt. We should have questioned it more. Should have called you directly instead of just through Harper. But she was so convincing, Sophia. She even cried about how hurt she was that you didn't want your own family at your wedding." The pieces were falling into place. But one question remained. What about Naomi? Why did she choose Harper's party over my wedding? Another pause. This one heavy with shame. "Harper told Naomi that you had asked someone else to be your maid of honor. She showed Naomi fake texts from you saying you had only asked her originally out of obligation, but had found someone you connected with better. Harper convinced her that coming to the engagement party would be better than facing humiliation at your wedding." I closed my eyes, recalling Naomi's sudden change of plans, her vague excuses. It all made sense now in the most twisted way possible. "Where is Harper now?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady despite the storm inside. "She left after Patrick broke things off. We don't know where she went." My mother's voice cracked again. "Sophia, we are so sorry. We failed you completely. I don't expect you to forgive us, but we needed you to know the truth." "I need to process this," I said, my mind reeling. "I'm in the middle of my wedding reception right now." "Of course," my father said quickly. We couldn't wait another moment to tell you the truth. Is there any chance we could see you tonight or tomorrow, whenever you have time? The request was surreal. My wedding day, which I had imagined since childhood would include my family, was almost over. They had missed the ceremony, the vows, the first dance, everything that couldn't be recreated. I'll text you the address of our hotel, I said. We'll be back there around 11 tonight. You can meet us in the lobby. After ending the call, I sat motionless, trying to comprehend Harper's betrayal and my parents' gullibility. How could Harper orchestrate something so elaborate, so cruel? And how could my parents have believed her so easily without ever speaking directly to me? Sophia? Jason's voice broke through my thoughts. He stood a few feet away, concern etched across his features. You've been out here for almost 15 minutes. Is everything okay? I looked up at him, my husband of just a few hours, and felt a rush of gratitude for his steady presence. No, I answered honestly. Nothing is okay, but I think maybe it will be eventually. I told him everything, watching his expression shift from shock to anger to disbelief. That is, he struggled for words. I don't even know what to say. Harper deliberately sabotaged our wedding day. She manipulated everyone. That goes beyond sibling rivalry or jealousy. That is calculated cruelty. I told them we'd meet them at the hotel after the reception, I said. I need to hear them say all this to my face. I need to understand how they could believe I would exclude them from my wedding. Jason took my hands. Are you sure you want to do this tonight? We can wait until after our honeymoon. I shook my head. No. I need closure before we leave. I can't carry this with me for 2 weeks. Then we'll face them together, he said firmly. Whatever you decide after hearing them out, I will support you completely. We returned to the reception. Our guests had hardly noticed our brief absence. For the remainder of the evening, I went through the motions, smiling and thanking people, dancing with Jason and his relatives, all while my mind kept returning to the revelation that had turned my understanding of my family upside down. At 10:45, we made our exit. We changed quickly at the hotel and went down to the lobby to wait. My stomach was in knots, my thoughts a chaotic jumble of questions and accusations. They arrived at 11:15. My parents, haggard and red-eyed. My mother rushed toward me, arms outstretched, but stopped short when I instinctively stepped back. Let's go somewhere more private, Jason suggested, gesturing toward a small meeting room off the lobby. Inside, with the door closed, we stood in awkward silence until my father spoke. Sophia, we don't expect forgiveness. What we did, believing Harper over you, missing your wedding, it is unforgivable. But we need you to know how deeply, profoundly sorry we are. Sorry doesn't change the fact that you missed my wedding, I said, my voice tight. Or that you believed I would exclude my own family without even picking up the phone to ask me directly. You are right, my mother whispered, tears streaming down her face. There is nothing we can say to justify our actions. We failed you as parents, not just today, but for years. Why was it so easy for you to believe I wouldn't want you there? I asked, the question burning. What kind of relationship did you think we had that would make that believable? My parents exchanged a pained look before my father answered. The truth is, we knew we hadn't been good parents to you, Sophia. We knew we had favored Harper, made excuses for missing your important moments, failed to celebrate your achievements the way we should have. When Harper told us you didn't want us at your wedding, part of us believed it because we felt we deserved that rejection. So, you just accepted it? I challenged. Without fighting for a relationship with me? Without even trying to make amends? We were cowards, my mother admitted. It was easier to believe Harper's lie than to face the truth of how we had failed you. And she's our daughter, too. So, we never imagined she would lie about something so important. Where is Harper now? I asked. Why isn't she here apologizing herself? We don't know, my father said. She left after Patrick confronted her. She's not answering our calls either. I shook my head. I don't understand how she could do this. We've had our issues, but this level of deception, of cruelty. I think she has always been jealous of you, my mother said quietly. Your intelligence, your independence, the genuine relationships you build. We spoiled her, made her the center of attention. But I think deep down she wanted what comes naturally to you, real connections, real accomplishments. Jason, silent until now, spoke up. That might explain her feelings, but it doesn't excuse her actions. What she did was deliberate and destructive. You're right, my father agreed. There is no excuse. And we enabled her behavior for years by always giving in to her demands and tantrums. I looked at my parents, really looked at them, maybe for the first time in my adult life. They seemed smaller, diminished by their guilt and shame. Despite everything, a part of me ached for the family we could have been. I cannot forgive you tonight, I said finally. I don't know if I can ever fully forgive missing my wedding. But I am willing to try to build something new going forward, if you are truly committed to change. They both nodded eagerly, tears flowing freely. That means acknowledging the patterns that got us here, I continued. It means therapy, both individually and as a family. It means real accountability, not just for today, but for years of emotional neglect. Anything, my mother said immediately. We will do anything. And Harper needs professional help, too, I added. What she did goes beyond normal sibling rivalry. We know, my father agreed. When we find her, getting her help will be our priority. We talked for another hour. A painful but necessary conversation that began the process of exposing the dysfunctional patterns that had defined our family dynamics for decades. No magical reconciliation occurred that night. No tearful group hug that erased years of hurt. But something shifted. A door opened that had long been closed. As Jason and I finally headed up to our room, emotionally drained but strangely at peace, he squeezed my hand. Are you okay? I considered the question. Not yet, but I think I will be. 6 months passed since our wedding day. Jason and I settled into married life, learning the rhythms of being partners. Our honeymoon in Greece had been a beautiful, much-needed escape. For 2 weeks, we explored ancient ruins, swam in crystal-clear waters, and began healing. Upon our return, the real work began. True to their word, my parents started therapy. They suggested family therapy with me, which I agreed to after some hesitation. Every Thursday, we met with Dr. Patterson, a family therapist specializing in adult family dynamics and estrangement. Healing is not linear, Dr. Patterson reminded us. There will be progress and setbacks. The important thing is commitment to the process. Harper had resurfaced 3 days after the wedding, calling my parents from a hotel room, ashamed and afraid. They convinced her to come home and immediately found her a therapist. It took 2 months before I agreed to see her. We met at a neutral location, a quiet cafe. She looked different, smaller somehow, without the confidence and charm that had always seemed to radiate from her. I don't know where to begin, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Sorry seems so inadequate for what I did. Why? I asked simply. It was the question that had haunted me. Why would you go to such lengths to ruin my wedding day? Harper stared into her untouched coffee. I've been seeing a therapist, and we've been talking a lot about this, about why I did what I did. She took a deep breath. The simple answer is jealousy, but it's more complicated than that. She explained how she had grown up feeling like she had to be perfect, had to perform to keep our parents' attention. They praised me publicly, but privately, they always compared me to you. Why can't you be more focused like Sophia? Why can't you find a nice, stable career like your sister? I listened, surprised. I always thought they favored you completely. They did, in many ways, she agreed. But their favor came with conditions. I had to be their perfect, charming daughter. You got to be authentic. You built a real life with real friends and real accomplishments. I just performed. That still doesn't explain why you would sabotage my wedding. Tears filled her eyes. When you got engaged to Jason, I saw how happy you were, how complete your life seemed. Patrick had just proposed, but it felt hollow, like another performance. I wanted what you had, and when I couldn't have it, I wanted to destroy it. It was petty and cruel. And unforgivable. Yes, it was, I agreed, unwilling to minimize the harm. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said quickly. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I did, and I'm getting help to make sure I never do anything like that again. That first conversation was awkward and painful, but it was a beginning. In the months that followed, Harper continued therapy, eventually moving out of our parents' house and starting a job as an administrative assistant. Her first real employment that wasn't in entertainment. My relationship with my parents slowly evolved. They made genuine efforts to know me as I am now, not as the child they had neglected. My mother called regularly, not to talk about Harper, but to ask about my work, my interests, my life with Jason. My father sent articles related to my field and asked thoughtful questions about my career. For the first time, I felt seen by my family. Not completely, not perfectly, but genuinely. The wall of resentment I had built over decades began to develop small cracks, letting in slivers of possibility. Naomi and I had a much more difficult path to reconciliation. When she discovered the truth about Harper's manipulation, she was devastated. She sent flowers, cards, emails, desperate to explain. I ignored them for weeks. The betrayal was too fresh, too painful. Eventually, I agreed to a phone call. "I should have called you directly," she said, her voice thick with regret. "I should have known you would never just replace me without talking to me first. We've been friends for too long for that." "Yes, you should have," I agreed. "That's what hurts the most. You believed the worst about me without even asking if it was true." "I have no excuse," she admitted. "I can only say that I am sorry, and I will spend as long as it takes trying to rebuild your trust, if you will let me." Rebuilding trust is harder than building it the first time. With Naomi, the process was slow and sometimes painful. We started with occasional texts, then coffee once a month, gradually working our way back to something resembling friendship, though the easy closeness we once shared remained elusive. Allison, surprisingly, became a close friend after her 11th-hour rescue. We met regularly for lunch, and she became part of our extended social circle. On our first anniversary, Jason and I decided to have a small dinner party at our apartment. Nothing elaborate. Just a few close friends and family. My parents came, bringing a photo album they had created, full of pictures from my childhood and accomplishments they had previously overlooked. Harper came too, bringing a thoughtful gift and a quiet presence, still working on finding her authentic self. During dinner, Jason clinked his glass. He looked at me, eyes twinkling, and I nodded, giving him permission. "We wanted to wait until today to tell everyone," he said, reaching for my hand. "Sophia and I are expecting. The baby is due in June." The table erupted in genuine joy. My mother cried happy tears. My father beamed. Harper hugged me gently, whispering, "You are going to be an amazing mother." Later that night, after everyone had left, Jason asked, "Are you happy with how things are now with your family?" I considered the question carefully. "I am at peace with it," I answered honestly. "It's not perfect, and there are still moments when the old hurt resurfaces. But we are building something new, something healthier. That's enough for now." And with the baby,